You have a banana sitting on the counter that has gone past the point where you want to eat it fresh. The skin is spotted, going brown, the flesh inside has softened past what most people find appealing for eating out of hand. And the choice you are usually facing is either make banana bread today, which requires time you may not have right now, or throw it away. There is a third option that takes 90 seconds in a machine you already own and produces something better than either. A banana that goes through a brief interval in the microwave comes out genuinely transformed. The heat does to the banana in 90 seconds what several more days on the counter would accomplish naturally, converting the remaining starch to sugar in the interior and producing a fruit that is sweeter, softer, and more intensely flavored than it was before it went in. But more useful than the sweetness is what happens to the consistency, which changes in a way that makes the microwaved banana one of the most versatile quick ingredients in a working kitchen. I am going to show you what actually happens inside the banana during this process, how to do it correctly, what you can do with the result, and a few uses that go well beyond banana bread. I am Levi Yoder. I was raised plain here in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and the farmhouse kitchen I grew up in operated on the understanding that nothing that could still be used was wasted, and nothing useful was made harder than it had to be. My grandmother had no microwave. She accomplished the same effect by placing bananas that had gone past their fresh-eating stage in a cloth on a warm shelf near the stove while bread was baking, which gave the same gentle, sustained heat over a longer period that the microwave delivers in 90 seconds. The microwave is simply a faster version of the same thermal principle. Understanding the principle is what makes you able to use it intelligently and adapt it to whatever you have available, rather than following a single instruction without knowing why it works. Before I show you, let me say this plainly. If you want the full collection of the old homestead methods that were handed down in our family, from the garden and orchards to the pantry, cellar, and the everyday keeping of a house, I have gathered them into one simple ebook. You will find it in the description below. Now, let us get back to the topic. Here's what happens inside a banana when heat is applied, because the mechanism is worth understanding before the technique makes full sense. A banana ripens by converting starch to simple sugar through the action of amylase enzymes present in the fruit tissue. At room temperature, this conversion happens slowly, driven by the natural chemistry of the ripening process, which is why a banana that is green on Monday may be spotted and sweet by Friday. Heat accelerates enzyme activity dramatically, in the same way that warm weather speeds ripening on the vine compared to cold storage. When you place a whole unpeeled banana in the microwave, the heat penetrates the skin and raises the temperature of the flesh inside. The amylase enzymes work significantly faster at elevated temperatures, and in 90 seconds, the interior of the banana undergoes the equivalent of several additional days of natural ripening. The result is a flesh that is sweeter and more intensely banana-flavored than the fruit was before it went in. The skin, which is mostly structural fiber and water, absorbs the heat and darkens considerably, turning black within a short interval in the microwave. This blackening looks like ruin and is completely irrelevant to what is happening inside. The flesh is not damaged by the skin blackening the way it would be damaged by true decomposition. And what you find when you open a microwaved banana is almost always better than the dark exterior leads you to expect. Here is exactly how to do it, and there are a few details that matter for the result. Place the whole unpeeled banana on a microwave-safe plate. Do not peel it first. The skin acts as a steam vessel that traps the moisture inside the banana and produces the gentle steaming environment that converts the starch most effectively. Without the skin on, the banana dries out rather than steams, and the result is inferior. Pierce the skin in 4 or 5 places along its length with a fork or the tip of a knife, so that steam has a controlled exit and the banana does not burst, which it absolutely will without piercing in a sustained microwave interval. Microwave on high for 30 to 45 seconds for a banana that is still mostly yellow with some spotting. Microwave for 60 to 90 seconds for a banana that is already heavily spotted or has begun to soften on its own. Let it rest on the plate for a full minute after the microwave stops. The internal conversion continues for another minute after the heat is removed, and this rest period is not optional if you want the full sweetness the process can produce. Open the skin carefully by slitting it lengthwise because steam will escape and will burn your fingers if you go directly into the opening without care. What is inside will be uniformly soft, intensely sweet, and warm, significantly more concentrated in flavor than the banana was before it went in. Now, what to do with it? Because this is where most people stop at banana bread and leave significant value on the table. The microwave banana is not just a banana bread ingredient, though it makes excellent banana bread in a way that eliminates the need to wait days for bananas to ripen further on their own. The consistent sweetness and the silky texture open up 5 uses that the fresh banana and even the naturally overripened banana on the counter do not enable as cleanly. The first is a hot banana with oats. The warm, softened banana, sliced directly onto rolled oats that have been soaked overnight in milk or water, creates a breakfast that requires no cooking beyond the 90 seconds the banana spent in the microwave. The natural sweetness of the converted sugars means no added sweetener is needed. The warmth of the banana warms the oats without any stove or pot, and the flavor is richer and more concentrated than a fresh banana placed on cold oats can produce. My grandmother achieved the same effect by placing a very ripe banana directly on the warm surface of the stovetop for several minutes while the kitchen came to temperature in the morning, which applied the same gentle sustained heat the microwave delivers in a much shorter window. The oat breakfast that came from those warm bananas was a standard winter morning in that kitchen from October through March. The second is an instant sauce or topping for other foods. A microwave banana, still warm, can be pressed through a sieve or mashed thoroughly with a fork into a smooth sauce that goes over yogurt, over ice cream, over pancakes, or stirred into oatmeal or porridge. The consistency after microwaving is silky rather than grainy, which is the difference between the fresh banana texture and the microwaved one. You can add a small amount of lemon juice to brighten the flavor and prevent oxidation if you are not using it immediately, and a pinch of cinnamon if the dish calls for it. The third is as a binder and sweetener in baked goods that replaces both oil and added sugar. A ripe microwaved banana can replace half the fat called for in a muffin or quick bread recipe and reduce the sugar by 30 to 40%. Because the concentrated sugars provide natural sweetness and the soft, dense texture provides the binding and moisture retention that fat usually delivers. The resulting baked good is denser and moister than the full-fat, full-sugar version, which is a quality many people find they actually prefer once they try it. My grandmother used overripe bananas this way in cornbread and in oat biscuits, working them in by hand rather than with any machine. But the principle of using the fully ripened banana as a fat and sugar replacement is exactly the same. The fourth is a warm drink base. A microwaved banana blended with warm milk produces a naturally sweet thickened drink that requires nothing added, no sugar, no honey, no flavoring, because the converted sugars and the smooth texture of the microwave flesh create both sweetness and body without supplements. This was not something from my grandmother's kitchen, I will be honest, because her kitchen did not have a blender. But the principle of using the ripe banana as a natural sweetener in warm drinks is as old as the banana itself. The fifth is frozen banana stock. Microwave bananas when they are going past their fresh eating point, and then freeze the softened flesh in a sealed bag. You will have a supply of pre-converted, intensely sweet banana available anytime for smoothies, baked goods, ice cream bases, and cooking applications. The microwave step before freezing concentrates the sweetness before preservation, which means the frozen product is better than frozen fresh banana for most uses. You are locking in the best version of the fruit rather than the good version. Now, I want to tell you something about why you do not know this already, because the same question applies to most of the simple things I cover on this channel. There is no product to sell, alongside the knowledge that a microwave turns a spotted banana into something more useful than it was. The banana companies have no interest in teaching you to extend the useful life and the value of their product after it is already in your kitchen. The store that sells you bananas profits when you replace the ones that go soft and throw the old ones away. The knowledge of what the softening banana is actually capable of is not information that serves any commercial interest that controls what gets published, advertised, or taught. So, it does not appear in those places. It appears in a farmhouse kitchen in Lancaster County from a grandmother who understood that the banana going soft on the counter was not a problem presenting itself. It was the banana becoming more useful than it was the day it arrived, and she knew what to do with it at every stage. The soft banana was not the end of the banana. It was the banana at a particular point in a longer process she understood all the way through. Tell me in the comments what stage your bananas usually reach before you decide what to do with them. And whether you have ever tried this with a banana you thought was past saving entirely. And tell me your county and your state while you were there. I read every single one, and I am always genuinely curious to know what people are doing with the food that the counter and kitchen produce every week. Next time, I am going to show you how my grandmother extended the life of stone fruits, the peaches and plums and cherries that come in abundance in August, using a cold cellar method that kept the flavor of that August available into December, and why the stone fruit you eat out of season from the store in January tastes like an entirely different category of food from the fruit you put by yourself in the right conditions when the season was at its peak. That gap is real, and it is not difficult to close. The people who built this country with their own two hands knew things we are only just now truly beginning to remember.